Hey y'all, I'm Jerdy, and in this video we're going to go over how to defeat High Commander Beatrix in the new Scarlet Enclave raid in Season of Discovery, as well as some tank tips on how to tank it perfectly. High Commander Beatrix is the second boss in the Scarlet Enclave, and she doesn't really have that many mechanics herself, but she does provide a unique build-a-boss encounter where you pick the extra mechanics that you want to get for that fight. But first, let's talk about Beatrix Mechanics herself. She has a taunt swap mechanic with Unwavering Blade, a strike that hits you for half your HP and increases holy damage taken by 100% for 25 seconds. Although the debuff lasts 25 seconds, it happens every 18 seconds when she casts it. So at the third taunt swap, you're both going to have the debuff, but don't worry, she's not going to hit it with you again until way after the initial debuff wears off. And then she'll also have two healing mechanics in Rose's Thorn and Stockbreak. Rose's Thorn will continue to do damage on the targeted hits until they're healed to full, and Stockbreak will hit 3 random targets, stunning them, dropping them to 1 HP, but they're immune to damage for 5 seconds. So in those 5 seconds, you have to heal them up before anything else in the raid hits them, or they will die. Now let's talk about this build-a-boss feature in this encounter. So scattered throughout New Avalon are 6 lieutenants of Beatrix, and the order that which you kill them will determine which mechanics you get. Now you'll notice the first 2 that you kill will actually die. That means you got rid of their mechanics. The other 4 will retreat back to Beatrix, and once the last one retreats, you can start the fight. Those 4 that you killed after, those mechanics will be a part of the fight. So if you want to get rid of certain mechanics from certain lieutenants, you have to kill them first. However, every week, 2 lieutenants at random will be empowered, meaning you have to deal with their mechanic. You can talk to Fidriel at the edge of the prison to tell you which ones are empowered. Now let's talk about what each lieutenant brings to the encounter. Cardinal Stilts. You'll always not want this one in your fights. Eliminate him first every single time unless he's empowered. His ability, Confession, will do massive raid-wide damage and does even more damage if you're nearby somebody else in your raid. Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't know the exact number. I've tried researching, but almost everybody avoids him, so I can't find a log showing the damage taken from this ability. I am betting, though, that this did get nerfed, so it won't be as bad, but it is hands down the worst one to have in this encounter. Shield Wardenstein. This one is pretty easy, and if you get hit by it, it's not too hard. She'll cast some waves of Scarlet Infantry members that you can't attack, and they're swinging and slashing their swords, walking from left to right down the marching field. There will be openings that you can go through to not get hit by them, but if you do, it doesn't do much damage. It puts like a 4-second dot on you that doesn't do anything. You have to get hit like 5 times for it to actually be noticeable. Always pick this one to be a part of your encounter. It's one you can just ignore. Knight Captain Fratley. His is similar to Shield Wardenstein's in that there are waves of infantry going down the field. However, his is called Thundering Hooves because it's 3 groups of 3 horsemen charging at you, not only left and right, but also up and down throughout the field. They will do some damage when they hit you, but they also knock you back. So for both Shield Wardenstein and Knight Captain Fratley, you want to be closer towards the center to have more room to dodge things. If you get hit by Thundering Hooves and it knocks you out towards the military man on the outside or beyond that, you'll get hit with a debuff called Out of Bounds that will kill you very fast. Arcanist Hilda will cast Meteor. A giant meteor will slowly descend to the ground for 15 seconds, and everybody needs to soak this. The unique part about this soak is that even if one person is not soaking it, it will wipe your entire raid. Be careful though, when the boss is out, Beatrix does a charge on a random player, knocking back others who get hit by the charge. So if everyone's stacked up and she charges, everyone's getting knocked out of that meteor. You should have a warrior bait the charge as long as possible and then charge back in himself before the meteor goes off to prevent the charge from griefing your raid. Cannon Mistress Lynn. I always want to opt out of this one as well because this one takes up a lot of room on the limited fields you have. Her ability is Explosive Shell. She'll target players with cannon fire, and you'll know where they are by seeing giant swirlies in the ground, but when the cannons hit, it leaves a giant pool of fire on the ground. And like I said earlier, it covers up a lot of the space you have in that really small arena. You're always notified ahead of time which mechanic is about to go out. So for Cannon Mistress, once you know it's going out, your raid should move from the center towards the edge of the arena. That way you can bait the fire to drop there, leaving the center free. And last and definitely least, Bowmaster Puck. You always want this one in your encounter. It does no damage. His ability is called Scarlet Arrows, and you'll see it happen. You see the arrows like going at you like a machine gun, but you don't feel it. It's very not noticeable. I think your healers would have to actually stop healing in order for you to notice this one. So always leave him up for an easy pass on a mechanic. So let's talk about the actual fight itself. This fight has two phases. One is an introductory ad phase that lasts for 2 minutes, and the next phase is when the boss actually activates and you fight Beatrix. Now, for the first phase, it really just feels like a testing of the waters. Can you handle the additional mechanics from the lieutenants while killing ads? The main challenge you'll have with the ads is getting them all grouped up. You want to make sure that you're ranged and anybody who has a kick can kick the casters to bring them towards the center. The mages that spawn, if a melee touches them, they will blink towards the center as well. So just getting someone to touch them is another way to get them grouped up. The ads also have some debuffs you want to take care of. The cavalry will put a Crusader Strike debuff on you. This is only important if you're a tank, as it increases your holy damage taken and can stack. This needs to be dispelled from you ASAP. And then there's Holy Fire that the priest cast, a damaging dot that needs to be dispelled ASAP as well, because it can have a rough lineup with another mechanic like Stock Break or Rose Thorns. Now let's talk about phase 2 when Beatrix is active. There are two main concerns here. One is the Unwavering Blade taunt swap mechanic. Just make sure one tank doesn't get hit by two. And then the other threat is going to be when one of Beatrix's mechanics, either Rose's Thorn or Stock Break, lines up with a lieutenant mechanic. For example, let's say you get Stock Break and then you get Bowmaster Puck or Cardinal Stills. That's going to guarantee a kill on the people who got hit by Stock Break unless they're getting healed ASAP after they got hit. Or even Scarlet Phalanx from Shield Warden Stein. If one of those mobs even touches someone hit by Stock Break and they weren't healed, they're going to die instantly. So it's your healer's job to make sure that you're keeping an eye out on the mechanics lining up before Stock Break or Rose's Thorn goes out. And now for some tank tips. On phase 1, I like to position myself in one of the corners of the arena to get the mobs that spawn in the opposite corner towards the center. And then I move towards the center to burn the ads down with the rest of my team. Certain lieutenant mechanics though will want you to position towards the center, like Knight Captain Fratley or Shield Warden Stein. However, if you get Cannon Mistress Lynn's mechanic, you need to call for your raid to go towards the edges to get the cannons to drop at the edge, leaving the middle free. When your tanks are taunt swapping, whichever tank has the boss wants to make sure the other tank is taking off the Scarlet Cavalry from them. You can hold a couple other ads as the boss tank, but the cavalry not only hit the hardest, but they're also the ones casting Crusader Strike, and you don't want that debuff as the boss tank. If you want to play it super safe, you can have 3 tanks for this fight, 1 fully devoted to the ads, and 2 tanks taunt swapping. That way you don't have to deal with that possibly happening. This next tip I'm going to offer can apply to almost all the fights in Scarlet Enclave, but that's have a target dummy ready and have engineering. Since everything has a taunt swap mechanic, having a target dummy that can taunt off you can really help you, especially if you're Alliance and you're a paladin and you can bop or use Blessing of Protection on your target dummy. It will make it immune to damage and will be a free tank for 10 seconds if you bop it before it dies. So let's say the ads are overwhelming you. You can use a target dummy macro and get the ads off you and have your healers heal you up and take a little breather. Or let's say your second tank dies and you need someone to taunt off you or the Unwavering Blade. You can throw a target dummy down, bop it, have Beatrix hit the target dummy with Unwavering Blade, and last through 2 more of those because the first one will drop off of you. Target dummies are huge, and we need to talk about them more because that's a big thing for tanks that will help keep you alive in a lot of these fights. Other than that, there's not much to this fight, as it did get some pretty heavy nerfs from its first week. This was a fight that had a lot of guilds stuck, and I would say roughly around 70 to 80% of guilds finished week 1 with 1 out of 8 bosses cleared. Now it's significantly easier, and guilds are able to progress the next 3 bosses, which we'll talk about in our next video.